You got a 2-day trial before I take back my time and make you pay. 30-day trial before I made my mind. It is always trials and tribulations.
If you're waiting until January 1st to start your 2027 glow up, you've already lost. And I don't mean that in a you're behind in life kind of way, nothing negative. I mean that most people treat January 1st, the new year, as this magical switch. They wake up on New Year's Day and suddenly expect themselves to become a completely different person. They've made promises to themselves that maybe they'll start waking up earlier, eating better, going to the gym more, becoming more productive, to stop procrastinating as much. They promise that they're going to basically completely change themselves and their life. And they're all going to do this within the first month of 2027. But then February rolls around and everybody's exhausted, burnt out, overwhelmed, and then they're questioning themselves on why everything they wanted to do did not stick. But what if we did things differently this year? We have roughly 4 months left of 2026. That is roughly 120 days to build the momentum, confidence, the habit, and the identity that you want to take into 2027. So when January actually finally gets here, we aren't just now starting, we're continuing. We already had a head start at becoming who we want to be in 2027. So today, we're locking in early, bitch. And we're going to do it starting off with a life audit. We're going to figure out what drains us, what needs to go, what we need to change, and what we can start building right now. So when our 2027 selves look back, they can think, wow, I am so glad I gave myself that head start. I'm so glad I started when I did. Now, before we get into the actual life audit, I want you to think about something. Why do you think most New Year resolutions fail? It's because we go from 0 to 100 in 1 month. We expect a calendar switch to change our entire identity. But that's not how identity works. It is not a switch. Identity is a muscle. You build it through repetition. You prove things to yourself over and over again. And that's what the next 4 months are going to be. They're going to be our training ground. We're going to start practicing the person we want to become for 2027 before we have to be that person. Because imagine getting to December 31st and realizing, I've already been doing all of these things for the past 4 months. That is a completely different mindset than waking up January 1st and rushing to try to get your thoughts and goals and ideas together on who you want to be for 2027. So let's start with the first part of our lock-in. Before you can build a new version of yourself, we need to figure out what parts of the old version of you still carry around. And this is where we're going to do a system reset. Not just cleaning up your room, not just going through your phone and deleting old shit. We're doing an energy draining audit. Go through your life and ask yourself, what is draining me? Whether it is relationships, whether it's your friendships, what habits you're doing that are currently draining you, what clutter in your room or your house is draining you, what parts of your digital environment, your phone, your laptop, your computer, whatever you're consuming is draining you. And what am I holding on to simply because I've gotten used to it? And most importantly, what do I know I do not want to bring into my 2027 life? First, we're going to start with our physical environment. This could be your room. Because if your room is basically a graveyard of your old self, the clothes you don't wear, the things you don't use, the clutter in your room, things that simply just don't fit into the life that you want to create for yourself in 2027. And you're constantly surrounding yourself with reminders of everything you have outgrown. So we need to clean it. You need to declutter it. Get rid of the clothes you don't wear, just don't fit no more. Get rid of the things that you just don't use no more. Create space. Because you're not just cleaning your room. We're creating physical evidence that we are making room for something new. Now, when it comes to your digital environment, this is your cell phone. This is the technology, the things that you consume on the internet. Look at your phone. Who are you following? What are you consuming? How does your feed make you feel at the end of the day or every time you open your phone? If you constantly leave social media feeling bad about yourself or feeling less than everyone else, you need to change it. Start unfollowing the people or the content that brings you down into a lower vibrational state. because your digital environment becomes your mental environment. I look at it as like you wouldn't invite somebody to your house every single day if they constantly made you feel horrible about yourself. So why are you inviting that energy into your brain every single time you open your phone? And now we're going to go even deeper. Look at your current habits and ask yourself, is this something that my 2027 version of myself would actually be doing? If the answer is no, then why are we still practicing these habits now? And I'm not saying that you're going to have to wake up tomorrow and become a completely different person, but you can start removing the dead weight now, because I don't want you dragging 2026 habits into a 2027 life. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is confidence. I want to change the way you think about confidence. Don't look at it as a personality trait. Confidence is repetition. Confidence is a reputation you have with yourself. Think about it. If you tell yourself, I'm going to start a habit where I wake up early in the morning around 5 to 7 a.m., but every morning you continue to snooze that alarm and sleep till like 9 a.m. in the morning, you are teaching yourself, I don't do what I said I'm going to do. And that's where your self-trust starts to break down. So instead of making these huge promises to ourselves that eventually we may end up abandoning, we're going to start making micro promises. Tiny promises that you will be able to keep. Maybe your promise is you'll drink a cup of water before you go and chug that can of soda or drink that cup of coffee in the morning. Maybe it's making your bed before you leave for the day. Maybe it's cleaning your room for at least 15 minutes or going on a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's you're going to actually post your content without talking yourself out of it this time. Your goal isn't to impress anyone. The goal is to build a history of being able to keep the promises you make to yourself. Think of it of like a wins bank. Every time you keep one of those tiny promises, you make a deposit into that bank. And before you know it, you'll start to realize that you actually start to trust yourself more. You feel more confident in the decisions and the things that you set your mind to. And to me, that is confidence. And I really want you to avoid the cycle of self-abandonment. Stop making these big promises to yourself you know you have a hard time keeping. Start small enough that you know that you can actually follow through with them. Because by January, you won't just be hoping you could change. You'll have actual evidence. And while we're building confidence, we're also going to start building courage. Once a week, do something that scares you. And I don't mean in a dangerous way. I'm talking about do things that make you uncomfortable. If you're afraid of being seen, allow yourself to be seen. If you're afraid of starting conversation or talking to strangers, go out and have a conversation with someone. If you're afraid of posting content, but you really want to post content, then post the fucking content. Because courage and confidence work the same way. You exercise these muscles, and the more you do, the less terrifying these things feel to you. So by the time January comes around, you already have the confidence and the courage to take the initiative to do the things you want to achieve for that 2027 goal. You've basically been practicing and training these things for the past 4 months, bracing for this new year. Now we're getting into health and appearance. And I don't want this to be a new year, new body kind of speech. We're moving beyond just the way we look. We want to feel capable while looking good. Make beauty self-respect. Your beauty routines aren't just about making yourself attractive for other people. Do your hair, take care of your skin, take care of your body, put on an outfit that you feel really good in. Not just because you want to feel worthy, but because you're sending a message to your brain that you are worth the effort. Beauty can be self-respect. You just have to find what works. And please don't wait till January to finally become this gym rat. I've noticed every year people tend to jump into buying a gym membership and buying all of this meal prep just for it all to just go a waste and for them to fall off track after 2 weeks. The moment you bum rush yourself with all of these changes, your body kind of just gets overwhelmed and you tend to fail them. So over these next 4 months, take your time and experiment with kind of workout routines you can use and the kind of meal preps that you can actually maintain with the life that you have. Allow yourself to have permission to experiment with these things before you dive headfirst into them. It is easier for you to maintain this over time. Take the time to build your routine now while you have the chance before the new year comes around. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is stop just living, surviving, existing, and start experiencing. Now, this one is important because locking in doesn't mean you need to become a hermit. It doesn't mean that you're going to spend the next 4 months sitting alone in a dark ass room, just constantly finding ways to change and work on yourself. You are still supposed to live. But I want you to stop being the background character in your own life and start doing something I call main character wins. Start romanticizing the mundane. Take the long way home. Try food you've never tried before. Try a hobby you've never tried before. Go to a museum. Or better yet, go outside, put the phone down, give yourself time in nature, go on trails. Do something simply because you are curious about it. Because sometimes I know we can get so focused on becoming the next version of ourselves, we forget to live in the moment that we are in now. So take time to say yes to things that are unknown to you. Because locking in doesn't mean saying no to everything around you. It's about becoming intentional with where your energy goes. The next part of this glow up isn't physical. It's going to be mental. We're going to do a comfort zone audit. What do you normally watch? What do you normally read? What opinions are you constantly surrounding yourself by? And then you need to ask yourself, what am I refusing to learn because it is unfamiliar to me? Now take the time to go and read a book that's outside of your genre. Go try food you've never tried before or that you have in your mind that you think you hate. Or listen to somebody who you don't automatically agree with. Go try something that you normally thought wasn't for you. Because becoming a new person requires you to be willing to discover new things. And that brings me to something that I really want to talk about and I really want people to remember. And it is to embrace the cringe. There are going to be times that you try something and fail at them. There are going to be times that you feel or look silly trying something new. You're going to be bad at things. You're going to be a beginner. Maybe you even post content that you look back at and can't help but cringe over. And all of these things are okay. They're completely normal. You cannot become someone new already demanding that you know how to be this person. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. And if everything that I've talked about feels overwhelming for you, this is what I want you to remember, the 1% rule. You do not have to change your life overnight or tomorrow. You just need to get 1% better every single day. Whether it's one tiny improvement, one risk-taking activity that you do that goes and pushes you outside your comfort zone, whether it's one healthier choice than what you normally make, or something that just simply makes you one step closer to becoming the person you are trying so hard to become. And then you do it again tomorrow. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is momentum. You're not trying to become a completely different person overnight. You are slowly building this person. You're building your future. You're building you. And then when January 1st comes around and everybody hops on that bandwagon of the new year, new me thing, you've already had a head start. So your 2027 self can look back and be like, damn, I'm so glad I gave myself the opportunity to have this head start. Now, finally, I want you to go ahead and start creating your 2027 vision board. I don't want you to start December 31st or January 1st. Start now and put it somewhere that you are going to have to see it every single day. And don't just make it aesthetically pleasing and pretty to the eye. Make it raw, authentic, and messy. Make it specific to you and what you want to see for your 2027 self. How do you feel? How do you look? What habits do you have? What does your health look like? What does your appearance look like? What goals are you achieving? What accomplishments do you want to have? What does your career look like? What does your car look like? What does your home look or feel like? What kind of friendships or relationships surround you in 2027? Simply just who are you becoming? Because your 2027 vision board isn't about just the things you want in life. It's a reminder of who you are trying to become. And it's reminding you every day what you are supposed to be working towards. And that vision board is going to be your anchor for the next 120 days. And if you could take anything from this video, let it be this. Don't wait until January to give yourself permission to change your life and become the person you've waited so long to become. All you need is a decision and the repetition to become that new person. You have roughly 120 days left. 120 days to declutter the room, to go through your phone, to better your environment, to encourage yourself, to lift yourself, to push yourself, to experience your life in a whole new light, to step into that main character energy and allow yourself to be open and free to learning and expanding your mind. And of course, you have 120 more days to become 1% better each day. Your 2027 self is looking at you right now. Let that person be proud that you took the initiative and that you had the discipline and the courage and the confidence to continue becoming that person. With all that being said, we are locking in today. We're locking in now. I hope you guys have an amazing journey through the last 4 months of 2026. I hope you get to achieve a lot of the goals that you've been setting for yourself for 2027. And by the time that New Year's hit, you're already comfortable and set in your ways and your habits, that 2027 becomes easier and those goals are just around the corner for you. I made this video based off all the things that I had issues with. All of these habits were the habits that I myself had every year. My birthday is January 7th. So every time January comes around, new year, new me, and I'm a new age, I always had that I want to be completely different. I'm grown, I've matured, I'm a different person. But then I would fall back into the same habits by the time February hit. So I hope I can push this video out for everyone who does the same thing that I do. And maybe we can all encourage each other to lock in and to get this shit done. Anyways, guys, I will see you next week. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye, guys.